This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jim Schaller.
Hello, and welcome to episode number 3 of the Good Neighbor Podcast Estero. Today we have Megan Long from ML Dream Designs. Megan, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's good to see you on such a beautiful Monday afternoon now.
It is, right? It's a Mondays are good. They can be good.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
I feel a little touch of fall in the air, and I don't know if it's in my imagination or if it's really out there, but I'm going to go with it.
There you go. I think we had some cooler temperatures, so some people like that. I'm a warm weather guy, so.
You got your parka out already?
I do. It is nice to get rid of the humidity a little bit, so I'm good with that. So that's a good. So how about we just start out? Tell me a little bit about ML Dream Designs and what you guys do.
Okay, great. So I am the owner of ML Dream Designs, and at this point, it's just myself, and I like to call myself a concierge design landscape business. What I do is I do designs in a 3D format that looks super realistic so that customers can really see what it is that they're considering purchasing, whether it be the landscape or the hardscape. They want a different shape pool, different color of the house, different roof, different windows. All that can be done once the base model of the home and the yard are put into this design. So it's a really great way for people to get a solid idea of what they want. We have so many beautiful options here in Southwest Florida, so many, that sometimes it's really nice to play around and see which is really the exact format that you'd be looking for.
Nice. Now, let me ask you this. How did you get involved in that? How did you get involved in this industry?
So I've been working with plants and design for as long as I can remember. I grew up in DC. My mom had a plant nursery and a business where we would go downtown and deliver to the White House, to all these big cathedrals and beautiful buildings. So I've got that in my blood. And my father grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida. And for me, that was love at first sight. I absolutely adore the tropics. I've always wanted this kind of area to be my home. And then I started working a few years ago with a company called C3 Gardens, who did container gardening down here in Florida. They have a fantastic product. They use these great big water pots that the owner of the business developed, and they build container gardens, which are then managed by a staff, if that is what you want. So I dwelled in even more just to get the beauty of the plants and the nature that surrounds us and what the real possibilities are, because what we see out there is not what's available. There are beautiful things, there are native things that are available, and they're not just commonplace. But, I absolutely love what our choices are. I was picked up by a company who was doing 3D graphic design, and I learned the program, and just, again, I absolutely fell in love with it. So all of these things, a little bit of my past here and there, kind of culminated into this thing.
So do you focus more on new houses or existing houses, or is there a certain market that's a little bit better for you, or that you find is more intriguing?
I have done residential. I've done some commercial, some A lot of places are older homes, or their second or third home to an individual. And that also is like, it's a change for a lot of people when they go in to do their landscaping. A lot of people have lived in several places, they have several homes, and they're ready to kind of pull it all together into one area. And they're rebuilding their outdoors, they're rebuilding their landscapes, but they're also, in essence, rebuilding their life and what the next stage of their life is going to be. And I feel that's one of the reasons that this really appeals to me also, because I can help people kind of guide them through that change.
Right. And I guess since we're talking about change, I mean, we've all endured some type of, hardships and challenges along the way. I know you've had some experiences. I mean, and you're probably in a different place than you expected now. But if you could, share a little bit of that, I'm sure the people would like to understand that a little bit.
Absolutely. So when my kids were young, um, about 15 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with a multifaceted glioma, basically a metastatic brain tumor, which was an incredible shock, as one might imagine. Um, it changed everything forever, and it's something for the best. I think it's one of the reasons that I live for the beauty of every day, and I feel like that is what kept me going through all of this. Um, he did have a wake surgery at Duke, so that was a pretty wild life experience. And he we had many years. We had many years going back and forth with different treatments. In the end, we ended up going with a test drug, and it absolutely wiped out his tumor, which is pretty much unheard of. So
Wow.
if you ask the doctors what they're calling his 15-year recovery cancerless, they'll tell you it is nothing short of a miracle. And
Wow.
I really do believe that just staying positive and focusing on the beauty in life was a huge aspect of what kept me going and what keeps me going and what really makes me happy. And I also think it's good for a lot of people. I think our connection to nature is there. It's just very, very deep sometimes.
Yes, you find out what's important in life when you go through experiences like that. That's definitely for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, very good. I guess, and transitioning a little bit. What's one thing that maybe, I don't know, is there a misconception about your industry, or something that people might not understand, or maybe think, that they know, but they really don't know?
Yeah, I'm working on figuring that out, but the answer I would say is yes, there are a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of one-stop shops, which is a great idea in some ways, but when you go to a nursery to get a design, to get it then planted, of course, for them, what they're trying to do is sell you the plants that they have. That's just natural, and that's a really good way, I think, for people to go if they just want to get a landscape design out there and get it done. Um, I dive into things a little bit deeper with the clients, and I help them to decide what will and what won't work for them. And if they fall in love with a tree from Madagascar, then that's what I'm going to get them. And I think that's one of the big differences there. It's a hard industry. These guys that work outside, these killer hours in the sun. It's just, it's amazing. Amazing what they do. But I honestly don't know other designers that are doing exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, I guess that kind of leads and transitions a little bit to. Is there one thing you wish our listeners would like to know about your business? Maybe it is that how you are different.
Well, for one thing, I will always have your best in mind. That's really why I went independent. I wanted to be able to work a little bit closer with the client. I wanted to be able to kind of hold their hand if necessary through the process. And, the outcome for me is something that I'm really, truly invested in. And I believe what I'm doing with this 3D software and allowing them to see if these changes will work to them is really satisfying in so many ways. I've had clients that have gone in thinking that what they want to do is just take out all their landscaping and start over. And they've ended up realizing what they really want to do is to extend their lanai area and add a pergola. So I think it's kind of neat to see all the options out there.
That's great. That is great. Well, Megan, I know we just wanted to kind of introduce you and get you out in front of the community here, but I guess how would our listeners get a hold of you if they're interested in looking into new designs?
I am available all the time. I can be called at 239-273-3727. I'm on the Alignable site where I have a few of my projects, pieces of them out there for people to take a look at and learn a little bit more about what the business is and get an eye for the kind of design that I do. And that's another reason that I'm independent is I love what I do. And if a customer wants to call me on a weeknight, on the weekend, if it's about plants, I'm ready to roll. So
that is awesome. That is great. We wish more people would be like you in that way. So it's more about the customer at the end of the day.
It is. And I just feel very grateful that I can be doing something that I enjoy so much.
Absolutely. You got to love what you do. Absolutely. Well, Megan, I thank you very much and I appreciate your time today. And we look forward to seeing you down the line here.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Estero. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpestero.com. That's gnpestero.com. Or call 239-296-2621.